dramatic voice from Ukraine's past has resurfaced. Former President Viktor Yanukovych, ousted in 2014 and living in Russia, has broken his silence. His words cut sharply across the debate that defines Ukraine today: Europe, NATO, and the path chosen by President Volodymyr Zelensky.
Yes, Vladimir Vladimirovich is absolutely right. Indeed, I have been working purposefully to bring Ukraine closer to the European Union. Ultimately, I set the goal of Ukraine's entry into the European Union, but I never made any secret of this. I openly said that Ukraine's place was in Europe, that Ukraine needed modernization and integration with Europe's economy. That was my political course.
Yanukovych insists he pushed for Ukraine's entry into the European Union, but he accuses Brussels of arrogance and indifference. He says the EU ignored Ukraine's economic suffering and negotiated from a position of superiority.
The other thing is that the EU partners behaved, to put it mildly, incorrectly during the negotiations. They did not show the understanding of the complexity of the economic situation in Ukraine. To be frank, they showed arrogance. They wanted Ukraine to accept the terms without discussion, without considering the sacrifices my country would have to make. That is not partnership, that is pressure.
But it is NATO where Yanukovych draws the red line. He calls the alliance a disaster for Ukraine, a dead end, and a direct path to civil war.
I have always been a categorical and convinced opponent of Ukraine's entry into NATO. I have always clearly understood that this is a disaster for Ukraine. This is a dead end. This is a direct road to civil war. I knew that NATO membership would divide the country in two, tear society apart and ignite conflict. That is why I opposed it, because it meant bloodshed for Ukrainians.
His warning collides head-on with today's leadership in Kyiv. President Volodymyr Zelensky has made NATO membership Ukraine's ultimate security guarantee, even demanding a timeline for accession as the war rages on. And Yanukovych's words also mirror what Vladimir Putin declared at the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit. Addressing 26 world leaders in Tianjin, Putin publicly shamed NATO, blaming the alliance for triggering the war in Ukraine and endangering global stability.
The second reason for the crisis is the constant attempts by the West to draw Ukraine into NATO, which, as we have repeatedly stressed and said, has been a direct threat to Russia's security for many years. This crisis did not arise as a result of Russia's attack on Ukraine, but as a result of the coup d'etat in Ukraine, which was supported and provoked by the West, and then attempts by the armed forces to suppress the resistance of those regions and those people in Ukraine who did not accept and support this coup. This is the truth, and everyone here must understand it.
Putin's message was clear. The West lit the fuse, NATO was the spark, and Russia was left with no choice. His words, spoken to leaders from China, India, Central Asia and beyond, were meant to turn the SCO into a platform against NATO dominance. The contrast could not be sharper. Yanukovych, EU, but no NATO. Zelensky, NATO at all costs, even if Brussels wavers. The European Union, once accused of arrogance by Kyiv's past leader, now plays the closest partner of Ukraine's current one.